Hello everyone, it is late at night here in Washington. That can only mean one thing. We've explored everything that the city has to offer, or at least what I can do in the only couple of days that I have here. So let me show you around all the things and tips what I learned over the past few days here in Washington DC. Washington DC, the capital of the United States, where decisions are made that will impact the world. But for us, it mainly means how is it to explore it as a tourist? Well, it will mean a lot of free museums to visit. But before we get to that, what are my first impressions of the city? So my very first impressions about Washington is that while I was doing my research, we will be doing a lot of museums. Georgetown is supposed to be really nice and there's some parks as well. But we're walking now from Connecticut Avenue up to the mall, where basically all the museums are and the White House is and all that kind of stuff. But so far the whole walk up here is just a big street, very wide, as you are used to in America, but not much around it or something. It seems a lot of office spaces and stuff, so maybe I'm not in the right area yet, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see how this view of the city will change over the course whilst I'm staying here. That's the first thing on the list done, the White House. It's more kind of tick in the box though. It's just looking at a building. That's nice, and luckily the weather is extremely nice, but besides that it's not that special in a way. But let's walk to the other side, to the mall, where at least there's some more green space, and with the weather that we have today, that would be extremely lovely. From the White House we pass the Eisenhower Executive Office Building, a 19th century government building known for its Second Empire style architecture, before arriving and admiring the Washington Monument. The monument is the world's tallest predominantly stone structure and the world's tallest obelisk, standing at 554 feet, which is almost 170 meters. When it was completed, it was also the tallest building in the world, before being taken over by the Eiffel Tower. But we don't enter the Washington Monument, we continue our way over the mall and enter the National Museum of Natural History. So that was the first museum, the Natural History Museum, which was pretty impressive in a way. I really liked the fossil section, like going back in history, that was really great. The mammal section was great as well, and there were a lot of interactive displays and things to do as well. In the end, I spent around 2 hours here. The mineral section was quite nice as well, to be fair, but yeah, two hours here. And I think the next stop will be the natural, or like the museum about American history, hopefully to see a lot of inventions and science and stuff like that. And yeah, I think that's a good time because it's getting a little bit cloudy now, and then hopefully the sun is out a little bit later. So that was the National Museum of American History, which you really need to be in American history to really enjoy it. Like the upper levels are more about the wars and stuff that they have fought or are still fighting in a way. And then you have a section about the whole entertainment industry, which looks quite nice. And my previous enjoyment part, or like the part that I really liked, was about transportation. So all the cars, the trains and the marine, like the boats and stuff. That was a really nice section, but overall I spent there like an hour or something because I'm not really into the whole history aspect of America, and especially the sections around democracy and how that existed and how that came to life here in America is something that I could easily skip. So we walked over the mall now at the Capitol building, and after that we're going to the Library of Congress, not because I'm really into books or something, but looking at the pictures, it seems to be
a very beautiful library to walk inside. So we're going to have a look there, but first let's get up a little bit closer to the Capitol building.
The Capitol building is an iconic domed classic building that houses the US Senate and House of Representatives. It is open for tours, but unfortunately I didn't have the time to take one. Instead, I made a small mistake, and that was when I visited the Library of Congress, located behind the Capitol building.
Okay, one thing to keep in mind, this Library of Congress, what I wanted to visit, you need a timed entry ticket, which is also the case with the Space Museum as well. Space Museum I booked on Tuesday morning, so I decided when I looked online, this one was fully booked tomorrow, closed on Monday I believe, and nothing available for today, so that will be Tuesday afternoon. And then, yeah, let's walk back to the mall and maybe check out one of the other museums as well. But before we do more museums, I just discovered the Botanic Garden here, which is also free to visit, so let's go in there first, check some plants, try to pretend to be in nature for once. I must say that was a really pleasant surprise. The Botanic Garden is a really nice visit. Again, only takes you like maybe 1.5 hours, but the people are really friendly in there. The staff are really knowledgeable. They told us all about how cacao was made and how Cadbury was the first company in the world to figure out how to make from cacao really a chocolate bar. Before it was all melted within milk and you had chocolate milk, but they were the first one to figure out how to make a solid bar from it. And we learned about bees, and they had a tropic house and a desert house with plants. So yeah, definitely worth visiting.
The rest of the day was exploring some more of the museums, such as the National Museum of the American Indian, which is housed in a great architectural modern building, before waking up the next day and exploring Washington on a Sunday.
That's a pleasant surprise on the Sunday morning. Here at Dupont Circle that I passed is a really nice looking farmers market going ahead. Not sure if it's every Sunday, but at least this Sunday morning it's a really nice place to taste some fruit, buy some bakery stuff, and yeah, just experience the local life. The only funny bit I have to say is when you look at some of the names of the products here, they call, for example, certain salad, they call it European salad, which is an interesting way of just describing very ordinary salad to us.
Now that the market bit is finished, it is time to walk and explore Georgetown, a historic neighborhood and commercial district that was founded in 1751. It houses Georgetown University and some of the embassies.
Yeah, so my impressions of Georgetown is like, it's alright, I would say. It looks nice, and with the sun there are some boutique shops, and you can have like some restaurants where you can sit outside and have a drink. The waterfront here is really lovely, but overall, if you have limited time in Washington, I would say skip Georgetown and just hang around the mall and go for all the museums over there.
From Georgetown you can nicely walk next to the water back to the mall, where you will stumble first on Lincoln Memorial. Abraham Lincoln was the 16th US president, and from within his memorial he is now overlooking the current politicians. One hand is firmly grabbed on the chair to show strength and determination, whilst one hand is open to still show openness. But when you walk around this area, with also the World War II memorial located on the other side of the reflecting pool, you quickly realize there's a strange phenomenon going on in this area.
The only thing I really don't understand here, there are so many food trucks around, that's one thing, but also so many ice cream trucks. Just over there already, there are like 1, 2, 3. There just came a fourth one in, like when I checked there were 3 of them, now there's a fourth one, and just on the side there are another 2. I really don't know why you need so many of the same ice cream trucks. Okay, I was talking to you before about the craziness of ice cream stands. So we have here 1, 2, and a load of buses in the background. 3, right in front of the Natural History Museum. 4, and then after crossing, for number 5, And then here, number 6. I really don't understand why you need so many of the same trucks in a row.
But we aren't here for ice cream cars. Instead, there are more museums to visit. The next one is located slightly off the mall, but it is called Planet Word.
And that was Planet Word. What a surprise. I didn't expect to come here, and I didn't expect me to enjoy it either. It's all about words, languages, and it's so creative and so surprising. It's free to visit. I spent here around 2 hours. You start at the top floor where you have like a globe talking to you about all the different languages around the world. You can learn more about them. Then there's a wall as well to tell you more about the English language. Then you go down, there's a library where you can pick books, open books in corners, see some displays as well, talking about like jokes and how to make jokes as well. And there's an area where you can use brushes to see the meaning of the word and see the painting changes based on the brush that you select. A karaoke room is there as well. It's just so diverse and it's really surprising. I really recommend you to visit Planet Word. I didn't know that I was going to have to eat my
That was another day fully filled in Washington. So another early rise the next day brought us to the following.
The other thing that you can do here in Washington is to visit the zoo. Also free to visit. It opens at 8 o'clock in the morning, so if you really want to squeeze things in, you could enter the zoo first at 8 o'clock, and then at 10 o'clock when the museums are open, you could enter the museums. The only issue is, like at 8 o'clock, not everything is open yet. I was at the birdhouse, it was still closed. Also, some of the animals are not out yet, so they're cleaning the elephant bit outside at the moment, so that's why the elephants are now inside. The benefit is, however, it's really quiet at the moment. So, yeah, we'll explore it a bit more and then we'll move on to the next thing.
If you go to the zoo and want to do something completely different in terms of vibe, is to walk to the nearby Rock Creek Park.
I must say, when you walk around here, it really doesn't look like Washington anymore. It really looks like a whole nature area that you're in. So yeah, that's an alternative thing you can do. Just go to one of the outside parks and then just feel as if you're in nature.
But as I said, Washington is all about the many free museums. Therefore, we visited the National Gallery of Art that has a historic art section, but also connected with a beautiful tunnel on the east side of the road, a modern art section. The Postal Museum that is all about the history of the US postal system. But maybe one of my other highlights from all the museums is a visit to the following.
It's a pleasant surprise as well, the Air and Space Museum. I especially really liked the exhibition about the Wright brothers and how the first aircraft came into existence, and they really have the very original, not a replica, the original first airplane here to have a look at. So that was really impressive. And then the other exhibits around space, speed, aviation, it all came together. That's really nice as well. So I spent around 2 hours here. Depending how much you are in the topic, it's either longer even that you could spend here or shorter, but definitely a recommendation. And keep in mind, at the moment in time, you still need to book tickets in advance. They're free, but you need to book a time slot to get access to the museum as well.
And from all of this, there's probably only one thing left to do. An attempt to visit something that I was less successful with a couple of days ago.
That was attempt 2, because this time I had a timed entry ticket for the Library of Congress, and wow, I only spent like 40 minutes in there because I don't really like the exhibition or what they're showing or telling. But the building, man, it's so impressive inside. The decoration, it looks almost like a Greek old type of temple that they erected for all those books. It's the biggest library in the world. And it will stay the biggest library in the world, I guess, because every day 7,000 new books are added to this library. And besides that, they have like the IP, I think, of every book that's created in the United States. So every book that's created has to be added here to the library. So even if you would publish a book here from abroad into the United States, it will still be added here to the library. So man, definitely try when you visit Washington to enter this library just because of the sheer looks of it. It's really impressive.
Washington DC in the end is a real pleasure to visit if you really are a museum nerd and want access to one of the best museums that are all free to visit in this amazing capital in the United States.